everyone. Welcome to another episode of Sub-Auteurs. I'm Mai.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Anjo.
And today we are going to talk about something fun. But first, we have a special guest for today. Woo!
Yes, we do. We have with us today a fellow film geek and a writer, Mr. Wincy Ong. Thank you for joining us.
Yay!
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We ran into Wincy at the premiere of the movie that we're going to be talking about this evening. I can safely say we all had a strong reaction to it. It's a franchise that's near and dear to a lot of genre film fans, and I'm excited to go into it.
Yeah, we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus today. And if you are a fan of the Alien franchise, well, just stay tuned. So, intro!
Roll the music.
Okay, so I guess the question is, what did you guys think?
I had fun.
Absolutely. I had a great time. I mean, I've been watching these films since I was a kid, and I can honestly say, despite common sense, I still manage to get excited for each new one, no matter how disappointing the last one was.
I don't know about Covenant. I wasn't excited for that one.
I was kind of hopeful after Prometheus because I actually saw a freaking alien this time. I mean, what did you think, Wincy?
I've actually been not a fan of the last Alien movies since Prometheus. Even the Alien versus Predator movie. So
I don't count those.
you can count those.
Those are non-canon.
Those are just bad.
So this is like finally. That was my reaction. Finally, a good Alien movie in like a long while.
30 years?
Absolutely. I think
the last good one was not a good one, but an okay one. Alien Resurrection in 1997.
I liked Resurrection because that was the first one I saw on the big screen. But objectively, I know there are things that could have been done better.
Right.
So we're going to be outing ourselves
With our relative
With our
ages.
age, yeah.
Well, to be fair, I am around your age, same millennial group. But
Age bracket.
Age bracket. But I didn't grow up on the movies kasi. So, it's more of I have a vague memory. I probably did watch a couple of the movies when I was younger, but it's just something my brain chose to shut out because, ew, aliens. So,
Slimy
yes,
aliens.
slimy, his creepy aliens.
No, it's actually precisely what I like about this. It's you don't need prior knowledge.
Yes.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
You can come in blind.
Yeah. Actually,
And you have a good time. You don't need the Easter eggs. You don't need
absolutely.
anything.
I still enjoyed it. Although I do remember, like, syempre, the iconic visuals of, the aliens themselves. And I did catch Prometheus. Mas tumatakbo si Michael Mas Fassbender.
iba naman dahilan kung bakit tumatatak si Michael Fassbender.
Crush ba ni ano?
Ay, nako. She's gonna have a thirst portion at some point.
This one
Yes.
doesn't. I think this particular movie doesn't have a thirst portion.
Yeah, kasi they're all
I think there is though for the guys.
Because they're all kids.
No, for the guys who like
Dora the
short.
Explorer?
Dora!
No, Kaylee Rain.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Kaylee
Yes,
Spinney.
yes.
Kaylee Spinney and cryogenic
That's
pambahay.
right.
Cryogenic pambahay.
pambahay.
At least hindi duster.
Ay, nako.
At least hindi duster.
Imagine mo pagising mo after 10 years of cryo sleep, paglabas mo naka-duster ka.
Cryogenic duster. No, that's my term. Cryogenic pambahay. Skimpy.
I like it.
Skimpy shorts.
Yep. For me, I mean, I've always loved it since I saw the second one. I saw Aliens because a family friend brought a VHS tape. He lent it to me and my brother.
VHS.
And, yeah, I know, right?
Can you explain to the younger people what the VHS tape is?
It was a physical-based format for watching recorded media. Okay, you happy now?
Yes.
And he said, you have to ask your mom if you can watch this movie. It's medyo intense. And when we saw it, it's a James Cameron movie from 1986, and he made it a balls-to-the-wall action movie because he knew that he couldn't outdo what Ridley Scott had done in the 1979 original. That was a slow burn, haunted house in space concept. But James Cameron turned it into a Vietnam War movie, but with aliens and colonial marines, big guns, and it was just, And Sigourney Weaver actually got nominated for Best Actress for her role in that movie.
Really? I did not know that.
I mean, it was a sci-fi movie. It was a sequel, and yeah, it had everything going against it. But it got nominated because critics don't really. I mean, award-giving bodies don't really award these things.
Right.
That's interesting. I've never knew that.
Galing. If you watch it again, it's intense. She's in every scene, and she anchors that whole movie emotionally, narratively, thematically. It's all about Ripley's journey, and that's why Sigourney Weaver is so identified with the franchise. Even after they killed her off in the third one, they brought her back for the fourth.
Resurrection.
Diba?
But in the fourth one, I think that was a clone of her. Right?
It was a clone,
was.
yes, because she committed suicide in the third one,
Right.
But
We forget the third one.
we forget the third one. That movie was so bad. David Fincher never wanted to make another movie, and that was his first studio film.
Oh, thank God.
That's why he didn't want to make another studio movie.
Thank God.
But thank God that he decided not to stop.
Well, maybe he was like, aliens are not my thing. I'm just going to go to true crime instead. Which worked.
Well, he did 7.
Well, yeah.
Wait, did
It's not
David
true
Fincher
crime.
Did the
do
third
any
one?
sci-fi movie after Alien?
I can't think of one actually. Now that you mention
I
it,
don't think.
I don't
You're
think-
right. I think
Yeah.
he stuck to the streets.
He went to
Yeah.
the crime direction.
He got traumatized.
he didn't want to do any more big budget
Oh,
franchise films.
And serial killers are not as traumatic.
sure, and they're cheaper to direct.
Well, yeah.
What was his last one with Fassbender? The assassin,
Killer.
the killer.
That was
That was good.
Okay.
That was okay.
Yeah,
That
it was.
Okay.
I still want him to do another series of Mindhunter though.
Yes.
If he can. That
I
was
would
good stuff.
kill for another season of Mindhunter.
But we're going back to Earth. We should be in space now.
I'm sorry.
yeah,
I'm
sorry.
In space where
Yeah.
no one can hear you scream.
Which I think they actually paid homage to in this one. There are a couple of sequences out there that were completely silent.
The opening sequence.
Because we're used to hearing spaceships rumble by because movies have trained us for that.
Yeah.
But because physics, space is a vacuum and sound does not travel in a vacuum.
No, actually, that's the one thing I watch it twice. On my second viewing, that's what I noticed.
Yeah.
What's good about this? The sound is really good.
Oh, it's-
like
yeah,
the way
it's
it's
amazing.
controlled, the way Fede Alvarez uses silence. Like for some sequences, there are no sound.
Yes.
No music.
Not even music.
Yeah.
Exactly. And oh my God, what is this? That was what I was feeling like when I'm not so sure if memory serves right. But there was that scene when a spaceship was about to crash into an asteroid and you don't hear anything.
It's interesting how you pointed out that Fede Alvarez had specific treatment for sound for this movie because he directed Don't Breathe, which was very particular about
The sound.
Also,
sound
the-
engineering.
Yep.
Or the
also.
absence of it.
Yeah, or the absence of it. So I guess he knew what he was doing. He knew how to scare people by way of using sound, which is
Actually, that precisely is my elevator pitch for this movie. It's Don't Breathe in Space.
I like that. And I like I like that. Absolutely.
No, the plot, right?
Yeah.
This is a ragtag bunch of
Kids?
raiders.
Yes.
Or thieves, right? Who are kids.
That's true. It is
Who
Don't
are
Breathe.
actually
Annoying. Sorry.
annoying.
not all,
Not all of them.
I'll get to that later. But
Yeah, but I
my
agree. I
God.
agree. But it has the same plot as Don't Breathe. Actually,
Yes,
Yeah,
it
it does.
is.
It does.
It does.
For anyone who needs a refresher, Don't Breathe, of course, is that movie where these thieves break into an old guy's house. They think it's going to be easy pickings.
because he's blind.
A
He's
blind
blind,
old guy.
And they don't realize that
He's a war vet.
and he's just killing them off one by one in the most brutal ways imaginable. And
That was
yeah,
sick.
I see a lot of that treatment with this one because this one has some truly terrifying scenarios, like rooms you would never ever want to be in a million years. And I think a lot of that comes from Alvarez having grown up with these movies, like a lot of the people watching.
Yes.
And he was just thinking, what would be the absolute worst situation to be in with these creatures? And there's one bit where they are trying to get through a room full of facehuggers, and
Oh
they're
my
not
God.
allowed. And they have to raise the temperature of the room to match their body temp, and they cannot be stressed out or afraid or panicked
Or
because
sweat.
their body temperature will spike.
Yeah.
And these facehuggers are on every conceivable surface in that room.
Right.
It's just
That movie, that part was so tense. Like I wasn't breathing when that was happening. I was like, when I saw the whole imagery of the swarm of these facehuggers, it's like, what the fuck?
But something I gotta ask. I mean, what did you think about the first act of the movie? Because there are some people complaining about how it's just a beat for beat remake of the first film.
When did the first act start? When they were in that mining colony?
When they're in their mining colony.
I actually like that. I
Okay.
actually like the way it was done because you start with a shot with Kay Spain's character
Yep.
looking at the sun.
Mhm.
And that's it. With the first shot, you immediately tell your audience this is what she likes.
Yes.
This is her journey. This is what she wants. Sunlight.
Yes.
And anything. And that's the genius of it. Like, wow, it's not food, it's not water, it's not oxygen, it's not I don't know, gold or whatever.
It's nothing material.
It's nothing material.
Yes.
Exactly. It's immaterial. It's sunlight. What the protagonist wants is sunlight. Oh my God. And anything that's, that unique, I love it. I love it immediately. So you see her like staring into the sun, right? That's the first shot. And then she wakes up. Oh no.
Nope. No, it's not. She
No,
lives a
yeah.
life of
She
darkness.
lives in
A mining colony.
in a bunker. Yeah.
Yeah, and basically they don't have sunlight.
Yep.
Exactly.
I mean, it's interesting that you bring this up because it's a what? It's a 30, almost 40-year-old franchise now.
Yeah, the
And
first one came out in 79.
Yeah, and then the people you're going to be catering to now might not have even seen the first one.
That's true.
So they wouldn't be able to identify beat for beat which shots or which scenes were in the first movie.
But
Yeah.
that's what I wanted to bring up because for me, I mean, exactly what Wincy said earlier, I like that you don't need that prior context. It works
Yep.
if you haven't seen one. You just get a little bit more out of it if you have seen
Yeah, it
the
worked
first
for
one.
me, honestly.
Exactly.
Worked for me. So
Because I've seen the first one twice. And the last time I saw it, I was still in high school. And honestly, this felt very fresh to me, which is why I enjoyed it.
I liked seeing familiar elements, whether it was in the set design or in some of the dialogue. I liked seeing those things. I could have done with a couple of the verbatim shout outs, but otherwise, I like that it's fully embraced being a part of this established universe.
Yeah.
Right.
But it didn't beat you over the head with it that you need to have seen everything that came before to understand.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty self-explanatory, the way
exactly.
this one goes about its story. And also, I liked that they found a way that it comes sometime after the first movie, but before the second one. So it doesn't hit you like some of these legacy sequels that come out 40 years later and everyone's
Right.
old now. This is a proper side quill. I don't know because it's in between 1 and 2.
Side quill.
And,
Or a between quell.
it's a between quill. And it fits. It absolutely fits.
It's a 1.5.
Sige, let's do that.
It's a 1.5.
I like that. It's a 1.5.
It's a 1.5. And
And actually, you can see it. The first one came out in 79, right? And the second one came out in 86.
86, yeah.
You can see in the production design that this probably happened around 83.
yeah, you got
82,
your analog
like-
screens, clunky
Yeah, and-
keyboards.
The Reebok shoes.
Reebok shoes.
I want those Reebok shoes.
does anybody know what model that exactly is? My sale somewhere. I will take it off air, but there's a Reebok sale somewhere.
They just released them for the
Okay.
movie
Oh, yeah. Kaylee Spainey's pair of Reeboks. Yeah.
that recall Ripley's from the second movie.
Okay.
Oh, she was wearing Reeboks.
Yeah,
there.
Yes.
okay.
exactly. Same color scheme, the white and the red.
I looked
the same
at Misha.
colorway.
And the graphics are very Atari.
Yes.
I looked
Retro.
at, when I saw the shoes, I looked at you. I had to lean over Misha.
So that's how eagle-eyed we are. Huh?
well.
we look at the shoes of characters in movies.
Of course.
Shoes.
Maybe it's just that's how nerdy we are as Alien fans.
Well, I'm not an Alien fan, but I like sneakers.
But you're a fashionista.
Wow, thanks. I wouldn't call myself that, but,
yeah,
you know.
you look good for your work. So.
Thanks. Anyway, but okay, one thing I
She
also
has good fashion for
that's
radio.
a better way to go.
Oh my God.
Okay, something I also wanted to point out was the cinematography. There were some sequences like they would experience zero gravity, and I would feel dizzy. I felt lightheaded at some point because it also felt like I was, floating in space. So that was just very well done. done, those sequences.
The first contact scene with the ship.
Yep, when they break into the ship, and also the really epic anti-gravity, scene, the fight scene where she's gonna be attacked by aliens. That was so good.
Oh yeah, that was the best for me.
So
That
it's
was
like a
fantastic.
dance.
That was so stressful.
It was. It's like when they were trying to avoid all that, slime and, goo. But that was quite something I've never seen before in sci-fi movies. Like, interesting.
It's because they have the
Like
technology.
floating splotches of acid.
Yeah.
Yes. That was really fantastic. That whole sequence where they had to like swim through zero gravity.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Swim, quote unquote.
Yeah, it felt so beautifully choreographed, not just in terms of like body movement of the lead girl, but also in terms of the camera work too.
Right.
It was like just flipping around. I was like, "Hang ganda."
Camera works amazing.
It
The camera
was.
work was amazing because I also think what works is that the screenplay takes pains to remind you that they are in space.
Yeah.
That space is a horrible, inhospitable environment because
Right.
we haven't really had one of these set in space since like Resurrection, I think, in 97, 98. And all the others would find some reason to be on the ground, in a base, in a lab,
Right,
or
yeah.
whatever. So this one reminds us that these people are living horrible lives of hardship under this faceless corporation, and they're going out into space just trying to make a living. And then there's this alien that just screws everything up.
And you know what I like about it? What I really liked about it is it's a very sensory movie as opposed to a dialogue-driven movie.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because Prometheus and Alien Covenant was very
my
philosophical.
Yeah.
The writer Ridley Scott fell in love with the dialogue,
Yes.
right? But this one, it was almost like it's like you're in a horror maze.
Yes.
It's sensory in the same way that Mad Max Fury Road was sensory.
Yes.
You understood the movie through your senses,
Yes.
not through the dialogue,
Yes.
not through words.
It did more showing than telling.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
And there's not a lot of like good lines in this movie, which I like. It's action driven, it's sensory driven. Like you were saying, right? Like it's one showstopper after the other.
Yeah. And you experience it with them. So the lack of sound, the floatiness of the camera, na parang, I'm gonna hurl. I really literally felt that.
And instead of dialogue, like for example, my favorite scene there is when Rain, Kaylee Swain's character, was begging her brother to open the door.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And he was programmed not to, right? He was calculating the risk.
Yep.
And he
Andy.
said, Andy the android was just so on the nose from the
Oh yeah.
That's what I didn't like, the name. So on the nose.
Actually,
What do we call the android? What about
Andy.
No, anyway, yeah. But and then after what's this? He didn't open it.
yep.
And their friend got
Dora.
Dora,
yeah.
Dora got shish kebabbed.
no, she was still alive.
Well,
She was captured. That's
Yes.
it. But-
Yes.
Yeah.
And then it was the first time I saw it. It wasn't dialogue driven.
it was
She
just,
slaps him on the
Yes.
cheek, and it was beautiful,
Mhm.
beautifully acted. No dialogue,
Actually, this
and the acting ni Kaylee Spaney was wow.
both actually. I see Andy and Rain. They anchored the performances really well. Those two.
Yeah, and that's what I like also. Because one of the in horror movies like this, you're looking for the relationship that you're gonna
Right,
hook yourself to. Like for Aliens, it was the cat, Newt,
Yeah.
and Ripley.
Yeah. Yeah. They
That
made-
was
that was
and
their-
Bishop, the four of them. Like
The good
please, the four of you, please stay alive until the end. This was like a movie between siblings.
Yes.
I love that it's not a mother-daughter relationship.
Yep.
Diba? It's not.
Because it's been done.
Yeah, it's not lovers. It's not. You know what I
Yeah.
mean.
Actually, I wanted to talk about that relationship between Rain and her adopted brother, Andy the android, because Andy the android, because
Why does it seem like a Pixar movie to me now? Andy the android.
Because Andy is,
It's like a spin-off of like Wall-E or something.
what I noticed about the way they're presenting it, because they're a very unconventional pairing, what you said earlier. Never mind the fact that one of them is completely artificial, but also the way he portrayed his imperfect android was, and correct me if I'm wrong, it struck me as a representation of a neurodivergent sibling.
Yes, I saw that.
Yes.
So the way she would care for him, the way she would watch out for him. I mean, he's superior to her in physical aspects, but mentally, I mean, she had to be there for him. Even if his prime directive was to take care of her,
Right.
you know, she was the one watching out for him. And when that dynamic is flipped over, when he gets reset, that introduces a whole new dynamic to the way they interact.
I'd even extend it and say that it's sort of a metaphor for autism.
Yes.
I
His
think so.
programming,
I
his
think
faulty
so.
programming. It's sort of like,
Yeah.
In fact, I think it says a lot also that the way that things get resolved is that she has to bring him back from his so-called superior state back to his original
flawed state.
Yes, because he was just a better person that way.
and I like the poetry of that. Like, who's taking care of who?
Yes.
Right?
Because the parents programmed him to take care of their daughter.
Exactly. But when in the mining colony scene,
Mm-mm.
it was Rain who was taking care of Andy, right?
Yes, that's true.
So I like it's interesting the dynamic, the brother sister dynamic there. Who's protecting who?
Absolutely. And something else I appreciated about this movie is, and I think I mentioned this when we were talking in the lobby after the premiere, was that I think that this movie goes a long way towards reconciling some of the more questionable elements of the sequels and of the prequels, similar to how the Clone Wars and the Mandalorian addressed the latter Star Wars movies. This one tried to reconcile prequels that you couldn't even connect to the original films anymore, by bringing back things like the engineers, the black goo, and all their hybrid experiments in a movie that we thought was just going to be a straight sequel. Instead, it references the prequels and it even ties them together in a way that Prometheus and Covenant didn't.
Yeah.
Right.
Bilbo was there.
Right?
Bilbo was there.
Bilbo Baggins was
talaga.
there. That's right.
But you managed to make him scarier here. Because that was maybe one of the things I didn't really like was the wonky CGI Bilbo.
That's true. The CGI, because Ash, the android from the first movie, his model of android is represented here through some really sketchy CGI, which is really weird.
Yeah. But here's the one thing I like, taking away from bad things about this movie is that we are introduced to new hybrids.
Ugh.
Speaking of hybrids,
Nightmare fuel.
that was pure nightmare fuel when we saw an complete humanoid alien xenomorph.
I think what makes it really terrifying was it came from an actual pregnant person. So when you think that we were actually joking around during the movie, me and Anjo, we were like, oh, pregnant girl has plot armor because the pregnant lady usually lives, right?
Until she gets shish kebab, I was like, oh, we were wrong.
Well, and then there comes like this mutant baby, which is really terrifying. I don't know, as somebody who has a uterus, dear God, it's always that innate fear in a woman that your baby comes out as this very Rosemary's Baby, that's the kind of thing. So it's like, oh my God, to me it was extra terrifying.
I did not need to see that thing crowning. Like, seriously.
Nope.
Like, holy shit. Like, the last time I saw something that scary come out of a female protagonist was... Do you remember The Fly?
Oh,
Yes, David Cronenberg.
When Gina Davis is dreaming that her Jeff Goldblum's baby is going to be like this ginormous larva coming out of her, and they actually show it. That's the vibe I was getting from this one.
This one was worse because I don't know, because they have better practical effects now.
Oh, speaking of practical effects, they were amazing here. Like, it's like... if you see the behind the scenes stuff that they worked on this, it's not much CGI. I guess there's a little sprucing up with CGI, but a lot of it was practical effects. It was amazing. Like, they had this robot. Ang galing. It's like gone are the days na parang...
Wait, who's the robot there? What's the robot?
Some of the xenomorph
Yeah.
was actually a full-blown
Oh,
animatronic.
shit. Yeah,
Like
it was so
seriously,
cool.
it could stand up, it could drool, it could like do the mouth thing.
Yeah.
There's probably a robot Bilbo too.
We'll link you to it.
Yeah,
It's
the
pretty cool.
prosthetics and the animatronics were built by Weta,
Weta.
actually.
Nice.
So that's why everything looked top of the line, except for Ash. I mean, except for Rook,
Rook,
the Ash double. It looked really bad. I'm sorry, but I appreciated that. I did not expect a cameo from 1979 to show up in this movie, honestly, and I can honestly say that with what Alvarez had already assembled up to that point, I didn't need the cameo because I think it would have stood on its own. They already had enough callbacks and references.
Yeah.
I don't.
What
think
were
they
the other
needed it.
callbacks?
The other callbacks. Let's see.
The guns, the shoes.
Yeah.
The gun. Yeah.
The gun. Yeah. We had a combination pulse rifle / smart gun from the Colonial Marines. On the mining colony, they had one of those environmental processing units, like from the second movie, because they were terraforming the planet.
Oh, also the line. What was the line? Stay away from her, you bitch.
Yes. Get away from
her, you bitch.
Yeah, that was a bit on the nose. In fact, when that happened in the theater, like only one person reacted.
Probably that was me.
No, there was somebody else in front of us. But I think
That was from the second movie, right?
that was from the second movie. There was what else? A lot of even the little trinkets that were on the consoles were stuff that was taken from the first movie.
Okay.
Like that bird that dips into the water
Right.
on the counter. Or even like some of Rook's lines. He's saying, I can't help you, but I can empathize with you. That's pretty much what he said when he thought he was killing Ripley in the first movie before she got back at him. So there
All of this is just like flying by my head, but that's okay. but
again,
yun yung maganda eh.
but that's
Kasi
what I mean,
it's
the movie
okay.
still works.
It still really works.
Yes, but I'm amazed that you have all of these.
I really
Like a
it.
checklist.
No, the first movie is honestly, it is a horror classic. It's a very slow burn, and I probably would like it a lot more if I hadn't seen the action-packed second one first.
Right.
Oh, speaking of slow burn, I think for me, this was also a little bit of a slow burn. Because we had to sit through a lot of, and here we go with the annoying kids. We had to sit through a lot of the kids making these terrible decisions. And I also felt like, buti na lang kids sila because you would understand these really
Yes.
dumb decisions. Because if these were adults, so parang, oh my God, this is just gonna be for like, oh, so the horror movie or the suspense thriller just keeps going. But at least na parang, okay, I tried
Pero
to
ako-
reconcile.
With that, I found it interesting na we finally have an aliens movie na civilians yung bida.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kasi it's always scientists, marines,
Yes.
diba? Synthetics.
Actually, yun nga yung which I found
These are
refreshing.
poor kids,
Well,
diba?
I guess
The
that
first movie,
humanizes
the
it
first
for-
one, they were like merchant marines, essentially.
I mean,
Yeah,
but-
exactly.
But they were sent out to do experiments and professionals. Ito talaga, like,
They're just
They're like
kids.
minors yata.
Yeah.
I think they're minors.
But dito, parang literally no experience whatsoever. Which
But they're not kids. I think they're 22, 23, 24.
Young adults.
Young adults.
Yeah,
Why,
I guess.
YA.
Mga bida na,
Yeah, YA, exactly.
Wait, I think
Yeah.
this is a YA movie.
Really?
So teen slasher flick.
Yeah,
Teen slasher
exactly.
flick.
Yes.
in
Well,
I
totoo
agree.
naman
I
eh. Because
agree.
they're going through these different relationships. Like Kili had
Because
her boyfriend.
They don't have specialization.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, not at all.
That's the great
You
thing.
have that douchebag jock stereotype
Who
with
we
the girlfriend.
thought would die first.
Yeah, but
But he
Yeah.
didn't.
But he didn't, And then you even have teen pregnancy in the mix
Yeah.
with the douchebag. He doesn't matter, father.
But that's my complaint. I didn't like the crew that much. Except for the sister and the brother.
Yeah,
I like their relationship,
'Cause
honestly.
It's funny how you bring that up because you're really not given a lot about everyone except
Exactly.
for
Yes.
the
people
Andy
who-
the android and Rain.
Yeah.
I think that's where
We should have they should have had added more character. to
I
them.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. And that's where
Like maybe she's not just a pregnant woman. You get what I mean?
Yeah, and then she was just
I think-
screaming at the end.
Yeah.
I think they just added the pregnancy just to be able to justify that pure nightmare fuel alien humanoid hybrid. I don't know.
Slenderman kind of.
Slender
Slender
morph.
alien.
Slender morph.
Slender
Slender
morph
morph.
Yeah.
with an X.
I saw a meme
Slender.
today. My cousin Robbie sent me a meme today.
Oh, Robbie!
It was a picture of an alien queen, like a xenomorph queen, and then the caption was like, I understand xenophobia now. These things are fucking scary.
Nice. Robbie, your cousin, if I'm not mistaken, if memory serves you right, this was his first horror movie.
It was his
In
first
the cinema.
cinematic experience.
He's not a big horror guy, but
Okay.
and he said yes, that hybrid alien will keep him up for a few nights.
Oh, Lord.
But going back, I appreciate what Alvarez is going for with the slow burn at the beginning of this one.
At least bumawi kasi.
Well, before we get there, the slow burn was like similar to how Ridley Scott opened his, right? For the first hour, pretty much nothing happens of the thriller variety, but the time that you spend with the characters makes you appreciate them and their world. It sets it up, and you like the characters, so that when shit starts happening, you feel bad for them.
Yeah.
In this one, I was so happy when the aliens started picking them off one by one because I genuinely
True.
didn't like them, other than their brother and sister.
Yeah, that's true.
That's true.
I mean,
Even the
so-
Chinese girl,
Yeah, I mean, she
Asian.
was just there.
she was there. Yeah, they should have added more something.
I mean, like,
they should have padded it more.
like think about the Marines. You spend like 20 minutes with the Marines before anything starts happening.
Yeah,
And everything
yeah.
that comes out of their mouth is instantly iconic and quotable.
Yeah, and even like a minor character like Vasquez.
Yeah.
Yeah. Vasquez
You
was-
remember her,
For sure.
Oh, there's a LGBTQ representation
Yeah.
here.
But Vasquez
In the
was-
80s.
Vasquez was so badass, though.
Exactly.
She was the one doing all these flexes, and she had the heavy gun, right?
Yep.
I wish that some of them actually had like specialties.
Yes.
Like one of them, I don't know, was good with like, I don't know, with cryogenics or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
They're pretty much useless.
They were
Yeah.
all just like, you could even say one of them was a tech genius because
Exactly.
they had Andy do all the tech.
Well, I
Andy,
had-
stick your finger in there.
Well, I guess that justifies all the dumb decisions they make.
Well, maybe the Asian girl, Eileen Wu. I don't know the character's name. She don't even care enough
Because
to
they're
find out.
forgettable.
Yeah.
They're forgettable.
They're just
So
archetypes.
Eileen Wu's role was probably the coolest one because she can pilot the ship.
Okay.
But given that, in their world, they probably could all do that.
Well, there was that one character, Tick. He
Was it-
smoked a cigarette while going up.
But then again,
Yep,
that's
yep.
the only thing that he has going on for him, right?
Yeah, that doesn't say much.
That's it.
Yeah,
it's
that's
just
it.
something his character does.
Oh, cool.
It's
yeah,
a
so
quirk.
like-
Yeah.
It's a quirk. Yeah.
It's not a character. It's not character building at all. It's just
And while we're in the subject of characters, best death.
The acid death.
that was
Because
cool.
we have not seen
yes,
I
I
would-
like that.
That's my favorite.
that. This
death
was intentional acid spitting.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
It wasn't like bleeding. It wasn't external bleeding. You
No.
know, I saw acid spurting from I don't know, nubs of
Yeah,
like
his fingers, right?
Yeah, fingers,
There's
yeah.
a close up of his hands while his fingers are burning
melting
away.
away
That is cool.
Oh,
yeah,
I like
no,
that
I saw
one.
like an alien. I don't know,
from that egg
like
sac
an egg
thing.
sac thing, like squirting actual acid.
That was
at him.
still the coolest death.
I
It's
like
not
that.
like somebody blasted the alien's guts and
Right,
acid
right.
spilled. No, this was like active acid spurting.
I like that one because that guy really had it coming. I think.
Yeah.
Oh, he's an asshole.
He was an asshole.
Well, then, I guess it's also why it's enjoyable because it's always just so cathartic when somebody deserves it, gets it.
That-
I think-
yeah, that's true.
I think
That's
Andrew
true.
hit it on the head when he said it's a slasher movie because like the first
Pretty much.
the first one was like
The jock dies first.
exactly,
Yeah.
and then you got your final girl who is
Mm-hmm.
is Rain.
No, sorry. The black guy dies first, usually in a slasher
Well,
movie.
So
That's also what
Except
we
the
like
black guy
about
here
it.
was slightly autistic, so they couldn't kill him.
Oh,
So they went with the other
right.
minority, the Asian one.
The Asian one did was the first casualty the Asian
Yes.
she was
with the face hugger.
Yes.
Right.
But here's what I also like about it. Despite all these tropes and all the failed bets Anjo and I had
They were
during
trying
this
to figure.
movie.
They were trying to figure out who died first.
Yeah, who died first?
So
if
who
the
died
pregnant
first?
girl
It
would,
was the Chinese girl.
the Asian
we
girl.
were betting on the jock.
Yeah. So it did also like twist a lot of expectations, which is a pretty good thing. And pregnant girl still died at the end. So
Right.
okay.
Wait, have you guys seen Joss Whedon's Cabin in the Woods?
Yes,
Of course.
Yes,
I love that movie.
That was great.
That's like an instruction manual on
I
like
love
Yes.
that
on
movie so
movies
much.
like this, like
Exactly.
right. Who
Pretty
dies
good.
first? Who dies last?
They even name the roles that
Yeah,
they're given,
exactly.
like the virgin.
That was so good. And I gotta admit, I went into that movie with zero knowledge with Cabin in the Woods. I thought it would be like, another Evil Dead kind of traditional horror story. And when it flipped the script on all these horror tropes, I was like, this is good shit. This is really
It
good
really
shit.
is good shit.
Yeah.
Okay,
One of my
so-
favorite movies ever.
So I guess at the end of the day, would you guys recommend this? Or like, who is it for most of all? Like, would you recommend it in general, or is it for like a certain type of person?
I would recommend it in general because it's just a well made movie. It's well put together. I like the fact that we didn't really have to care about the other characters to feel for the main characters because it just erases all the blocks out all the noise. We just keep the story focused between the siblings.
Nice.
Something I saw was that Fede Alvarez, he was actually inspired to make this movie. It was because he was playing Alien Isolation. And that's a video game where you have to be dead ass quiet because the microphone on your controller while you're playing it is on. So any noise you make, the alien hears it.
Nice.
So it's basically a game of hide and seek, and it's the most stressful game of hide and seek. And I think he did a great job of bringing that to the screen, and it works whether or not you've seen one of these movies. So I absolutely would recommend this to a general audience, especially one who hasn't seen it, just so they can see what all the hype is about, and also so they know why we actually like this franchise. Just avoid all the shitty sequels after the second one, and watch 1, 2, and what is this now?
1,
7?
2, 4?
Does this count as 7?
No,
If you count AVP 1 and 2.
I don't count AVP. Nobody counts AVP.
Okay, fine. So this
It's
is
like Freddy versus Jason.
So this is what this is 1.5.
It's 1.5. So it's 1, 7, 2.
Let's go with 1. Let's go 1, 1.5, and 2.
Anyway, Wincy,
Yeah,
your thoughts.
I would.
before we close this out.
I would definitely recommend this. Why? Because, like I said a while ago, it's one of those few movies that you understand through your senses.
Yes.
And it's intelligent.
Yes.
Absolutely.
How could you have a movie that's sensory and it's intelligent at the same time? It's one of those rare movies. The last smart and sensory movie I watched was Mad Max Fury Road. Like, let the visual speak for itself. Let the sound speak for itself. You don't need dialogue.
For sure.
If you're deaf, you could still understand this movie.
Yes. It hits you in a visceral way.
Exactly.
Honestly.
Exactly. And
It's a good way of describing it.
Visceral.
it's like you're not watching it with your brain, but your body understands
Yes.
the movie itself.
Yeah, that's actually how
Yeah,
that
you're
fe-
feeling
that's
it as much as you're
exactly how it
watching it.
feels.
Exactly. And I'm not and so I love dialogue. I love writing, hearing writing and good writing in movies. But for this one, I did not that's where I wasn't going for. I understood it through my senses, and that's really rare.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So yeah, I guess this is fun. We would recommend it, like even for someone who wasn't so familiar with the rest of the franchise. I'd still enjoy it, especially the all action-packed parts where people start dying. That's
You
fun.
just like the douchebags dying.
If they do continue with another sequel or even a crossover with Dan Trachtenberg's Prey,
Oh, that's amazing.
that would be amazing. Maybe we could finally get a good AVP movie.
Okay, so I guess that's something we can look forward to in the future. But yes, if anybody here listening has any thoughts at all, please do hit us up in our socials. We are Sub-Auteurs. We Like Movies on Facebook. We have a Facebook group called Sub-Auteurs. We Like Movies. We share lots of fun memes there. I remember sharing a xenomorph meme somewhere there. But anyway, yes, we're also on TikTok and Instagram at Sub-Auteurs Podcast. But yes, thank you so much, Wincy, for joining us.
Thanks for having me. This is a fun discussion.
A lot of good insights from Wincy here. So thank you. We're glad we bumped into you at the premiere.
Yes. And hopefully, I hope I could guess again. Love talking
Lots
to
more
us.
movies coming along the line.
Of course. So yeah, there you go, guys. That has been another episode of Sub-Auteurs. Watch out for our next one. I'm pretty excited about it. That's a teaser, but for now, thank you and goodbye. This has been Mai.
I'm Misha.
And I'm Anjo.
I'm Wincy.
Yay!
Yay!
Woohoo!
Great having you on, man.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
We had fun.
Yay.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.